Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hello Word. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we explore another fascinating word in the English language. Today's word is death. Now, death is a noun, and at an A2 level, it means the end of life. It's a topic that can sometimes be difficult to talk about, but it's also a very important part of life. Simply put, death is when a living thing stops living. We use the word death in many ways, often to describe the event itself or the state of being no longer alive. For example, the bird's death was very sudden, or we mourn the death of our loved ones. Now, let's look at some synonyms, words that have similar meanings. One synonym for death is passing. We might say, "We were saddened to hear of her passing." Another synonym is demise. For instance, the demise of the company was due to poor management. Another one is end, used when talking about the end of something's life, like the end of the project felt like a small death. Another word with a similar meaning is departure, often used to soften the blow of the news. His departure from this world left a void in our hearts. Similarly, we can use loss. For example, the family experienced a great loss with his death. Notice how these synonyms can sometimes make the subject of death a little easier to discuss. Now, let's explore some antonyms, words that have opposite meanings. The most obvious antonym for death is life. For example, life is precious and death is inevitable. Another antonym is birth. We can say birth and death are the beginning and end of the cycle. Another antonym, in a less direct way, is existence. Consider the sentence, "Before death, there is existence," or survival. For instance, against all odds, they fought for survival, defying death's grasp. Another antonym is creation. We can contrast death with creation by saying, "From creation to death, we experience the world." Now, let's think about how we use death in everyday life. We often use it in expressions like scared to death, which means very scared. For example, "I was scared to death when I heard the loud noise." Or a matter of life and death, meaning something very serious. For example, getting to the hospital quickly was a matter of life and death. We also use it when talking about the death of a pet or a plant. We could say, "My dog's death left me heartbroken," or "The death of the plant shows it didn't get enough water." In news reports, you might hear, "The death toll from the earthquake continues to rise." Also, in literature, we often encounter themes of death, such as Hamlet explores themes of death and revenge. Other examples include, "The doctor confirmed the patient's death at 3 p.m. The death certificate is required for legal purposes." The death penalty is a controversial topic. "She is grieving over the death of her mother." The news of his sudden death shocked everyone. The thought of death often fills people with fear. Facing death with courage is admirable. The cemetery is a place of remembrance for those who have experienced death. He cheated death when he survived the car accident. The Grim Reaper is often associated with death. Many cultures have different traditions surrounding death and funerals. The artist explored the themes of death and rebirth in his work. Grief is a natural response to death. The detective investigated the circumstances surrounding the death. The politician's career suffered a death blow after the scandal. That was a death trap. They fought tooth and nail to the death. So, to summarize, death is the end of life, and while it can be a sensitive topic, it's important to understand its meaning and how we use it in language. We explored synonyms like passing, demise, and departure, and antonyms like life, birth, and existence. We also looked at how death is used in everyday expressions and various contexts. Thank you for joining me on Hello Word today. I hope you found this episode helpful. Now, I have a small favor to ask. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. Your support helps others discover our show and continue their English learning journey. And for today's challenge, I encourage you to create your own sentence using the word death and share it as a comment under the video. I'm excited to see what you come up with. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring the wonderful world of words.